What is your name?
My name is Michael Marmon-Halm.
And where are you from?
I'm a Ga by tribe. So I was born in Accra, Jamestown to be specific. That's my hometown. That's where I come from. Yeah.
Okay, so what was your childhood like growing up? Was it a difficult childhood, or you really enjoyed your childhood?
I think it was mixed feelings. That if you look at the various combinations, we had grown up as a very, I wouldn't say I'm coming from a very poor background, but obviously not a wealthy background. And the reason why I'm very discreet about the terminology is because I've seen poverty, especially coming into Suhum, seen what is real poverty and what maybe an Accra born would also describe as poverty. And I don't think that I was anywhere close to what I've seen here. But obviously, I was also not in the best of economical situations from birth. So as a child, I have always fantasized situations where I see my parents' friends completed house. When I say completed house, I mean an accommodation that has a wall, has a gate, perhaps has dogs, pets to play around with, and a vehicle. And I had always asked, when will we get to the stage? Because then I had compared to what I had seen in my home. It was decent enough, but was nowhere near any of this. We were five in the family, 3 boys, and my parents, mom and dad, the second of the 3 boys. And before we had to start life in just a single room, and wish that this changed. Yesterday, I was having a discussion with a friend where I said, hey, my dad spent much of his time on an outstation basis. And it was during the period where there was no mobile phone, or perhaps mobile phone was not popular in Ghana. So we had only had to rely on landline. And this landline was about 7.5 kilometers from our house. So this is a friend's house. And so my dad would call and say, I would want to speak to my family. And then based on their benevolence, they would send either their kid to come and inform my mom, and then say, hey, dad wants to call you in the next hour. And then we'll get ready. Then the whole family will march to this house, sit there and wait for that hour. And then the phone call comes in. And so I had tried to compare it to recent times and the flexibility of technology helping us reach out to everybody, and like now having the economical position to be able to even afford a phone, buy credit and all that stuff. And I'm wondering, oh wow, what a transformation. But the unique thing about this period was that although it came with so much difficulty, I think that the scope of frustration of a child is so limited that in all this was fun for you, like completely fun, And so growing up, I think there were really high moments where you looked up to the family, your parents during Christmas, like you were only going to have chicken during Christmas. It's the only time normally families in Ghana at that level would have chicken or buy Coca-Cola or Fanta, and have other things associated with the occasion. Like these were the only times you see this, and it was very nice, like very, very simple and very nice. But yes, there was the part where you had also seen other stuff, other parents, other homes, and you had wished, well, I was hoping this was like our family as well. So it's a mixed feeling. But in all this, I think nobody really told us that adulthood was completely different from what we had seen as kids. And being an adult now, as a husband and a father, I can tell that, wow, like there's a big gap that you don't realize until you move into it.
You mentioned Suhum and Accra, and you mentioned a different level of poverty.
Yeah.
Could you explain to the viewers the difference between the poverty in Suhum and Accra?
All right. In Accra, usually it may be tied down to what you can afford. So, for example, there is abundant internet in Accra. It's now your choice of whether first or foremost whether you want it or not, and if you do, whether you can afford it. But in Suhum here, there isn't internet, so it is not a question of whether you can afford. Suhum lacks a lot of basic development items, like proper school, proper healthcare facility. Like, these are all missing. You won't believe that we are the first to bring fiber optic internet to this part of town. It didn't exist. Like, the closest internet service you can get is through a radio wave technology. And even the mast for this is situated very far from here. In our early days, we were hooked up on this kind of service, and with the slightest wind direction, it changes, it stops working. And every time we try to improve upon internet connectivity and we invite service providers, everybody says, "Oh, we're sorry, our items don't get all the way here." So the only option is radio wave, for example. That is that kind of poverty where it is first coming from the environment and then coupled with you as a person, whether or not you have the means to even survive. And for me, this changed the narrative of how I saw life. And that's the difference. So in Accra, they may be there. You may be lucky to even get this for free. But here, there is completely nothing. Like nothing. You're sick, and there's a kind of hospital, but is that the best? Can they provide the best of healthcare? Completely not. So that's the difference.